Thank you for that. That was a little bit schoolhouse rock with this business, and then some math as well. So thank you so much for that, Representative Hunter. Because that led us really into a curriculum direction, I'd like to wrap up the presentation segment of our forum by sharing a few slides about the Washington State's Instructional Materials Review process and their outcome. Curriculum is really, as was just stated, it's really where the rubber meets the road. You know, it's what's in the student's hands, it's what's in the teacher's hands. If there's one thing you can do, how about curriculum? You may not be able to change the content and knowledge of an entire state's worth of teachers, but you can definitely change the books that are in their hands. So I see that as the low-hanging fruit. It's the highest value to our students, to our parents, to our taxpayers. And I think that our state is realizing that. And if somebody ever tells you, because I've heard this myself, that textbooks don't matter, I can guarantee they're trying to sell you something. So let me just touch on the Washington State Curriculum Review. OSPI, the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction, assembled an instructional materials review team, which is a fun little group. It's really a fun-loving group. Bob Brandt, one of our panelists, and myself both had the pleasure of serving on that in the middle school grades. And 25 programs in the K-8 grade band were reviewed and scored. 70% of their score was based on standards alignment to the new standards. And 30% of their score was based on what they call other factors, which includes assessments, student accessibility. I like to think of them as the usability. 70% of it is, does it meet the standards? 30% of it is, can the teachers and the students and the parents use the program? Alignment, usability. There was a recommendation, a ranking, and the top 4 programs were reviewed by strategic teaching. Washington State Board of Education has to make a recommendation, and they didn't want to just accept that. They wanted to have an independent review of it. So they looked at the top 4 programs for K-5 and the top 4 programs for middle school as well. In the middle school grades, it was a pretty close match between the two, but in the K-5 programs, there was a little bit of a discontinuity between the two. So I'm going to start out with the OSPI ranking. These are the top 4 programs, and I believe there were 13 in the elementary school, in the K-5 group. These are the top 4 programs. And after ranking these as the top 4, OSPI recommended these 2, Math Connect and Bridges in Mathematics, as finalist programs. So the State Board of Education says, let's look at your 4 programs, let's review your process, let's validate this, and let's make our own recommendation. And they shifted things a little bit. You'll notice that math expressions moved from 4th place to 1st place. In fact, I believe it was referred to as head and shoulders above, or a rare treat, a rare find that completely includes the conceptual underpinnings and the procedural knowledge with clear explanations between the two for the important content in Washington standards. They spoke very highly of it. So it was the bottom of the list on one hand, it was the top of the list, the clear top of the list on the other hand. So I want to just highlight this. Everyday Math and Turk Investigations, you'll notice, were not recommendations by either group, yet both of these are used extensively by districts in Washington State. These are not recommended after going through this comprehensive process, measuring these programs against our state standards. Everyday Math and Turk Investigations did not make the cut. Bridges in Mathematics, I wanted to just make a couple points on that. One of the reviewers on the OSPI panel made this comment: there are over 1,100 pages of teacher text in this curriculum. Not enough practice is embedded in the program. So it's a significantly large program, yet it doesn't include enough practice. And then quoting the National Math Panel, excessive length can contribute to a lack of coherence. So there's a second point. In addition to the size and lack of practice, there's always this talk about standard algorithms. If anybody's tired of hearing about standard algorithms, well, really, a standard algorithm is beautiful because it builds on all these concepts. It draws on number sense. It's efficient. It's extensible. You can use it for any number. It's standard. So the National Math Panel has said standard algorithms are very critical. In fact, they've said computational proficiency also requires fluency with the standard algorithms, including multiplication. And I just wanted to highlight for this program, I've got a page here that was also referenced in the report that refers to 4 different multiplication strategies. And one of them is repeated addition, one of them is the area model, one of them is working with known facts, and this one is the mismemorized or misapplied algorithm. And if you look at that in detail, it's basically 4 different errors made using the standard algorithm. So that the algorithm isn't developed, but it's demonstrated how not to use it. So our opinion is that this program should not be promoted for Washington State classrooms.